Jeffrey Bethel here. May 4th, 2020, another chess video, 2 in 1 day. This is going to be another game of mine with the Halloween Gambit. Now, as I said in my other video, the Halloween Gambit is just a lost game for White. It's an unsound opening, so why would you play it? The main reason to play it is to have fun. Chess is not a, at least for most of us, it's not a job. We don't put, our food, we don't put food on the table or pay our mortgage with what we win at chess or what we do at chess. Chess is an expression of yourself, of your own individuality and creativity. And if you want to play an unsound opening because it's fun for you, go for the gusto. If you're merely being, if you're a person who focuses on winning points, winning prize money, increasing your rating, that's fine. Play in a more sound way. That's fine, no problem there. But this is just a game for fun, and it's to show that even strong players can get confused by outrageous and outlandish openings. So here we go. Once again, this is knight c3, my favorite opening. Knight f6, e4, e5. Knight f3. Knight c6. Okay, now we have the key position on the board. This is where you play the outrageous, unsound, and stunning knight takes e5. What can Black do? He has to take the piece. I mean, I suppose he could counter sacrifice or something like that, but almost everybody's going to take this piece, and that's where the fun starts. You play d4, get some initiative. And again, as I said in my other videos, and I've said already now, is White doesn't get enough. This is an unsound attack, but it's fun, and it forces you to be very tactically alert. So that's a good training method. Even if you lose the game, playing sharp openings is good for you. Okay, so d4, knight g6. Oops, get rid of this stuff. That's probably the more sound retreat rather than knight c6, because you get pushed back again. But as you can see, this is a decent position for Black. He's a piece up. I mean, White does have a space advantage. He has a development advantage, but a piece is a piece. So Black has to be happy with his position here. But as this game will show, and the theme of this game is pressure, even a competent player can fold under the pressure. Let me set a little bit of background here. This is from the 2012 Al Ufer Memorial, and Al was a longtime fixture in Colorado chess. He passed away. They made a memorial tournament, had that for a couple of years. This is, I think, let's see here, the opening. This is game in 60 with a 5-second delay, so it's not a rapid or blitz game. My opponent is Richard B. I'll just give his last initial. He had a rating. He was a former master. He was at rating of 2,000 when I played this game. My rating was, I think, 1840 or something like that. There. Okay, so here we go. So bishop to c4, bishop to b4, queen f3. Because White is down so severely in material, a piece for just a single pawn, he has to play rapid moves that force the pace of the game, that make it a faster game, and he has to be aggressive. So this is about the only move that makes sense here. d5, returning a pawn. No, I apologize. Yeah, returning a pawn. Let's see here. Bishop takes d5. Oh, there's a piece. Oh, no, he's guarded. Okay, he's guarded. Yeah, okay. So, queen of d7. Castles. And bishop takes c3. You just can't leave that knight on the board. He has potential to go here and create a lot of problems. So black pretty much has to get rid of that knight. And as you can see, his position's a little cramped. He has given up that pawn to kind of, open some lines and free some territory for his own pieces. So he's down 2 pawns, but he has a piece. So, okay, let's see here. So c6, bishop to b3, okay, and then queen f5. And one of the things about the Halloween Gambit is that once black has given back a second pawn, or white has won a second pawn, the trade of queens is not so bad. I mean, it's not great for white. He'd like to keep the queens on the board, but it doesn't necessarily mean the attack is over. And that's a lot of people have a prejudice that if they sacrifice something, especially like a whole piece, that they desperately want to keep the queens on the board. And sometimes it's just not sound to do that. And you can continue to look for openings. And we're human beings. We're not computers. So we make mistakes. Don't necessarily fear the trade of queens in a situation like that. You do have 2 pawns. A lot of things could happen. Okay, let's see here, queen f5. I am able to avoid the trade of queens for the time being. Bishop to e6, c4. Now that black has successfully weathered the storm against his king. Now it's basically a battle of my pawns versus his army. I have to do something with these pawns, throw them forward, get some aggressiveness going, get some tempo wins possible, and see what I can do. Okay, a7, c3, and castle. So black has to be happy. He's castled. His pieces are relatively developed. He has kind of an anchor point in the center. He's not, necessarily going to get overwhelmed quickly. I think he's got every reason to expect to win this game. But white is not totally bereft. I mean, it's not time to resign. Let's put it that way. This pawn mass plus augmented maybe by the f pawn is going to come forward, and let's see what happens here. Okay, so let's see here. Castles f4. You can see that the space, I've got a tremendous amount of space. That's worth something. Probably not worth a piece, but it's definitely worth something. So queen g4. And probably don't have a good way to avoid the trade of queens here. But again, that doesn't mean the attack is over. It doesn't mean the pressure is over. So trading the queens here brings his piece here, the bishop to here to recapture that queen. And, so the pawns continue to roll. Bishop to d7 and g4. Look at that magnificent wall of pawns there. It's sad that, in fact, white is still completely lost here. But it's fun. So rook f to e8, f5, knight f8, bishop to f4. So, again, if you didn't know, if you just came and visually looked at the board, you'd go, wow, black is getting, absolutely destroyed here, but he's a piece up. So the positional factors, I think, favor white, except for the material. So can this be converted into something that will help white, draw or win this game? Probably not, but it's sure a heck of a lot of fun to play. So, b5, c5, b5. And if you saw my other game with the Halloween Gambit, This is another example of how slow White's play is. He's not, dazzling Black with tremendous sacrifices and stuff like that. He's basically just patiently building up his position and making the most of what he's got. So knight, where are we here? Fine. So here, this knight is just too strong. I feel I have to take it. So takes back with the pawn. Da-da-da. Okay, so bishop to d2, bishop to c6, rook to f2, h6, rook 1 to f1, knight to h7, and you can see Black is gradually taking control. He's kind of, he's had his guard up and he's taking some blows and stuff, but now he's ready to start counterpunching and counterattacking. Black is really ready to press home his advantage and seems to be well on the way to winning the game. Okay, I think Black's decision to try to push forward on the queen side is a good one. Once the game opens up, the extra piece is going to be able to eventually, his extra piece is this knight. Right now doesn't have a lot of influence on the game, but when it comes back into the game, especially with the queens being off the board, White is in a lot of trouble. So here I'm just trying to hold on as good as I can. What does he do? A6, so very nice move here, very multi-purpose move. It prepares to maybe double on the A file, but also cuts across the third rank here for Black, and really helps out with the defense there. King to G3, rook to B8, G5, H5, King H2, knight F8, and here comes that extra piece into the game. White's in trouble. To G1, G6, E6. Let's see here, E6, F takes E6, and bishop to F4. So gaining a tempo off the rook there. Rook to E8. F6. So now, this is really White's last stand. He should not win this game. He should lose this game. But he does have some, he's got this advanced pass, protected pass pawn. So he does still have some chances. This is another, if nothing else, this game is a lesson in to always stay alert. Okay, so King F7, rook to B1, bishop to C6, rook 2 to B2, knight to D7, bishop to D6, E5, D takes E5, knight takes E5, A4. So, sorry. Trying to open lines here for my B file. White is really in desperation mode here. Black is played very well and is now taking command of the game. So, not a lot of stuff that White can do right now. So, knight to G4 check. King to G1. B takes A4. Not a big fan of that move. This is exactly what I wanted. Black is still winning, but I think he's giving unnecessary chances to White here. So rook to B6, and I guess maybe one of the things that made it hard to see was the fact that I'm offering trade of even more material, and Black is still a piece up. Kind of a shocking thing. So he he recognizes the danger of taking and giving me another pass pawn, so he goes over here, support that rook. And now comes the switch over to this file, which because of the penetration points I have on the file, white is really doing quite well here. So a lot better than he was doing. So rook d1. Black kind of panics here. He sees the trouble that the e-file, the open e-file, is presenting for him, and he sacrifices the piece back. I don't know if he had to do that. Knight takes f6. Don't take back immediately. Rook to e7 check. King to g8. G takes f6. And I think, white is back in the game now. He's maybe even winning. Rook takes b6. C takes b6. And rook to c8. f7 check. And king h8. And then the finishing move, bishop e5 check. And it's pretty much over here. And his comment was at the end of the game was, "You rascal." So I hope you enjoyed the game. Maybe put it on your engines at home and see some more stuff there. But once again, Halloween Gambit is a fun gambit to play. Not sound, not something you would want to teach to a kid, but definitely something to have a lot of fun. So thanks for tuning in today. Bye-bye.